Thanks for visiting Kerjula GCCI, home of the business community in the Gambia. Like any normal country, the business community is quite concerned when there's instability. We saw what happened in the United Kingdom. When there was so much uncertainty, the pound lost so much in the international market. The Gambia is a trade hub for West Africa. Our political population is 2 million. Our economic population is well over 30 million. Because a lot of countries use our port facilities, come and buy here, do businesses with members of our members of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce. So with the current situation, it has been quite a concern for both our members and non-members and the nation at large.
Why did you feel it so prudent that GCCI as an entity, it's important for you to issue a statement?
I'm not sure whether it's a matter of being prudent or not prudent. We're here to represent our members as an association, and we lobby, we try to develop policies that would help our members to better improve the business environment. And an impasse in the political situation would cause so much uncertainty. And once you have uncertainty in a market, it causes really imbalances in the economy. So we felt that it was necessary for GCCI to add their voice to the voice of the Gambian people and the will of the Gambian people.
So the current situation continue to deteriorate. What does the Gambian business community stand to lose?
As I explained earlier, Gambia is in the middle of West Africa as a trade hub, and we're surrounded by Senegal. We have people that come from Mali, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Senegal, Mauritania to do business with business people in the Gambia. And with the current situation and the uncertainty from our business partners across the West Africa, it might cause some people not to come to do business in the Gambia. This would have a direct impact on the jobs that have been created around the service sector. It would have a direct impact on the re-export trade that is happening from the Gambia. It would have a direct impact on the utilization of our port, which some of these regional businesses use to basically bring their goods and distribute to their local economies.
The GCCI membership is wide and diverse. I mean, within the past 1 week or so, do we have people coming to you to say, because of this political impasse, I've lost so and so? For example, if you have to monetize the amount of things that you've lost because of the political situation, do you have people coming to you to say, because of this situation, my business is not moving, and as a result of my business not moving, I'm lost in so and so and so?
Unfortunately, statistics is a challenge in the Gambia, both at the national and the local level. I'm not sure whether we can have specific statistics, but just walking around town, going to Banjul, talking to people informally, you would see the impact of the uncertainty and the political issue having a slowdown on the economy, which is quite natural. Unfortunately, we don't have any specific statistics to back that, but based on talking to some of our members who have clients coming from the greater West Africa region, we've seen that they have not been coming as much as they were coming. Also, people naturally were worried that there might be challenges with the election, but thank God it went out peacefully. And I think we should continue to use that strategy as a hallmark of peace and a stable country to continue developing the business climate in the Gambia.
Some analysts have said that the political situation, the Gambian economy is at a standstill because one of our main source of income in this country is tourism. For example, agriculture and tourism. Agriculture has not been working for us, now it's tourism. Tourists, because of this political situation, are not coming as they used to be or as it was projected. Manufacturing industry too, some manufacturers are saying they are not producing as it used to be. Will it be correct to conclude that the economy is at standstill?
I mean, the economy would definitely take a slowdown in terms of uncertainty. That's a global challenge for any country, and Gambia is no exception. We're part of the global economic village, and naturally, we have partners that come to buy or re-export or move or use our facilities. And if they are not comfortable, or the news that is coming out of Gambia is not giving them a comfort, they would not come in, and that would definitely trickle down to a slowdown. Tourism is a critical industry in the Gambia, both at the local and the international level. And we've seen that there were tourists here before the election. Quite a lot of them left, but we do hope that they will come back to enjoy our beautiful beaches, nice hotels, and hospitality in the Gambia for what we are known for.
What is your message to the incumbent as a business community?
My message to the incumbent was delivered through our press conference, that the will of the Gambian people should be respected. The peace and stability that we have known Gambia for should be respected, and he should respect the verdict of the chairman of the IEC, which was delivered on the 2nd of December 2016.
What is your message to the president-elect?
My message to the president-elect and his team is to look at how to get more indigenous Gambians involved in the economic sector, look at the opportunities that we can create for youth to create employment, because youth unemployment is a challenge, look at how to attract FDIs and other investors that would create jobs, sustainable jobs, create wealth, and distribute it across the country.
Some critics say the Gambian economy is largely in the hands of foreigners. Not to sound xenophobic though, but they are saying some Gambian economy is largely in the hands of foreigners. Will you recommend an indigenization policy to the incoming economy?
Well, personally, I prefer an economy that is free, an economy that is competitive. However, unfortunately, quite a handful of Gambians face challenges because of access to capital. So we need to look at how do we structure our capital market, access to finance, access to funding, that would allow youths to be able to have access to capital to start their businesses. That would allow indigenous businesses to be able to have access to capital to compete with the foreigners. We welcome foreigners in the Gambia, and we do hope that when they come to Gambia, they'll participate in the economy and distribute part of the wealth in the economy.
If you had to advise the president-elect and his team of government should call you for a roundtable discussion as to ways to make finance accessible, because this has been a perennial problem in this country, and some people are blaming it to the high interest rate in the country. Now, assuming that is not the only problem, the high interest rate is not the only cause of problem to access to finance. If you are called to a roundtable discussion as to how to work around this challenge, what will you say?
First of all, we need to identify that the high interest rate is also part of a problem, which we know is partly caused by government borrowing to a certain extent. Also, the overshadowing of that, which is basically the banks cannot take their depositors' funds and give it out at lower than what they can get from the government in terms of treasury bills and that stuff. However, what I would advise the new coming government is to look at creating funds that would allow people to develop their capital rather than taking bank loans. That's number one. Number two, we can look at opportunities whereby businesses would be more formal. Because if you want to attract capital into your business or your startup or your venture, you need to be open. You need to be able to have books properly accounted so that you can attract investors. You do not have to go to a bank to take a loan. You can talk to people who might have excess funds to invest in your business, but you need to have it in a more structured manner.
Protectionism has been the oracle of many people, that our local businesses are not that much strong to compete with some of the things that are imported. Will you still advise protectionism to the incoming government?
Well, I'm not sure whether protectionism is the right strategy for Gambia. As I said, we have a political population of about 2 million, but we have an economic population of over 30, up to 300 million. Because today from the Gambia ports and Gambia airport, you can easily access West Africa within 5 to 8 hours. So we should look at bringing industries and services that would use Gambia as a base, create jobs, create wealth, give people opportunities to be in business, rather than developing a protected wall. We're part of the global economic wall. We should not see ourselves as a small country or a big country. We should see ourselves as part of the global economic world that would complement the efforts of other countries. So protection, to me, should definitely should not be on the table.
Okay, I think this has been the argument, because allowing FDI to come, foreign direct investment to come, or allowing foreign investors to come in, it's perfect. They create employment for you, they do so and so. But at the end of the day, the money goes back, and it has been said in reports that the level of capital flight, the amount of money that is going out of this country is too high, considering the size of our economy. This is why they are saying protectionism could be a solution. If protectionism, in your view, is not a way out, how do we make sure that our local people invest in our economy so that the money in the country can stay in the country?
First of all, if you talk about capital flight, you need to look at multiple things. Where was the capital generated that came to create the hotel or build the factory? Was it generated locally or was it generated from an FDI? Second, if the capital that is being invested into Gambia, how much of it has government developed policies to allow local content where indigenous people will be allowed to participate with potential investors to create an environment that would allow both the investor to be happy and satisfied and allow the indigenous people to develop through a local content policy.
One more question, please. I mean, taxation has been a bane of Gambian industries, Gambian economic sector in general. How do we work around taxation as the new government is coming?
Well, you know, taxes is part of the core revenues of the government, but on the other side of the taxes is the cost. Do we ask the government to reduce their cost? We know government has a obligation to provide certain services, including healthcare, education, and that stuff. But an overburdened tax economy would basically kill the producers of that tax revenue. And I think what we urge the government is, how do we spread the tax burden so that people would pay taxes, the right taxes, but at a lower rate, so that we can encourage more people to go formal in terms of their business dealings.
Finally, what is your message to Gambians out there as regards the political impasse to maintain peace so that business can continue to flourish while the politicians are settling their problems?
Well, I think my message should be to the politicians. Can you please get your act together so that Gambia can move on as quickly as possible?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.